Invincible+decisive killing+fruit development+original storyline+no female lead+free will+principles, those who mine should enter with caution. Chen Feng travels through the sea bandits, and at the beginning, he has an incredible understanding. Touch the corpse to understand its combat skills. Those who touch the corpse of a demon fruit ability or are on the brink of death can comprehend the fruit ability without any side effects. 1 year later, Chen Feng was invincible in all corners of the world, earning the title of Death God. Feeling bored, he plans to enter the new world. He arrived at the naval stronghold of Shell's town. Encountered the captured Roronoa Sauron and Luffy by chance. At this moment, an accident occurred and Monka stared at Chen Feng. Monka threatened Chen Feng, but was killed by Chen Feng. Finally, Chen Feng was invited by Luffy. He originally wanted to refuse, but later he changed his mind and decided to go to a new world anyway, flying with a straw hat, maybe it would be more interesting. Chen Feng joined the Straw Hat Troupe and became the vice captain. So the new Straw Hat was established, with Luffy as the legal representative. Chen Feng. Behind the scenes Big Boss Luffy. Captain, why do you have so many fruits of ability? Chen Feng seized one of the 3 major weapons, the Underworld King, and successfully crafted it. As for the Sea King of the 3 major weapons, Chen Feng also understood his ability to control the Sea King beast. No, he can even control all marine creatures, he has become the master of the ocean. As for the history 800 years ago, Chen Feng doesn't care at all. If he wants, the current world government will also become history. Chapter 1. Crossing the Sky with Understanding, Sauron on the Cross. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Master, please let us go. As long as you spare us, our blood-teeth pirates are willing to donate all our treasures. Chen Feng looked at the pirates kneeling in a pool of blood, his mouth slightly curved. Kill you, your treasure will also be mine. And your heads are also worth a lot of money. As soon as the words fell, the long sword was unsheathed, and the speaking pirate's head fell to the ground with a frozen expression on his face. At this moment, the co-captain shouted as if facing death. That guy killed the captain. He won't let us go either, brothers. We'll fight him. The other pirates saw this and also wanted to start desperately, charging towards the Chen Feng at the bow of the ship. Chen Feng looked at the rushing pirate, clenched his long sword, and his face remained calm. 10 minutes later, Chen Feng wiped the long knife in his hand. In front of him was the headless body of the last pirate, and not a single member of the entire blood-teeth pirate squad escaped. After Chen Feng finished wiping the knife, the long sword returned to its sheath. The sea breeze gently caressed the broken hair in front of Chen Feng's forehead. He is a traveler. I have been in the world of pirates for a year now. When Chen Feng was just crossing the world of pirates, he encountered 2 pirate groups in a big battle. The original owner was an ordinary young man who was affected by 2 pirate groups. Chen Feng in his previous life were both ordinary people, and after crossing over, there was no such thing as a system. So he decisively packed the body and prepared to wait for the end of the battle between the 2 pirate groups before escaping. But after accidentally touching the body of the pirate, he found that he had many combat skills in his mind, and also understood the dominance of one of the strongest combat systems in the pirate world. After traveling for half an hour, Chen Feng looked at the sea pirate corpses scattered all over the ground, his mouth curling up. That's right, he used his learned combat skills and dominance to kill all the pirates of 2 pirate groups. After killing all the pirates, Chen Feng felt no discomfort in his heart. It seems that killing is not as terrifying as he thought, as if he had just done something very ordinary. After killing 2 pirate groups, he fully accepted the fact that he had crossed into the world of pirates. Looking at the bodies of the pirates, I remembered a profession in the world of pirates. Bounty hunters. He handed over the heads of the 2 pirate regiment leaders to the navy and received a large sum of money, which he used to enjoy well. Afterwards, he searched for pirates everywhere, killed them, understood the combat skills, and then went to the Navy to receive a reward. Now, a year has passed and most of the famous and bounty-rich pirates in the world have been killed by him. Today is his last time killing pirates from all over the world. This place has become boring, and he plans to explore the great routes and the new world. That place is much more interesting than the four seas, and stronger people gather in that place. That's where the pirate world should go the most. The strongest pirate included. Wang Xiaoquasi, the highest naval combat power. Navy General, the highest pirate combat power. Fourth Emperor, the Revolutionary Army, and the Tianlong man who controls this world are all in that direction. He wants to see if it's his sword or if these strong men have stronger strength. And there are other more interesting things in the world of pirates. The mermaids, princesses, and various strange animals, as well as various demonic fruits. And most importantly, Tao Zhizhu must die. For this character in the pirates, Chen Feng detests it deeply, and if he encounters it, he will be cut to death with a single sword. Moreover, he has already fought against Moonlight Moria, one of the 7 martial seas under the king, and he has also killed one of his men, Clockter. They will definitely face each other in the future. As for the other naval generals, Chen Feng has not had a chance to fight yet, but there will be a chance soon. And there are some unsolved mysteries about the pirates, such as whether Clockdale is a man or a woman, missing history, what is the Heavenly King, and what exactly is there on the Island of the End, and so on. Chen Feng is very interested. In the original world, he couldn't do anything, but in the world of pirates, there were many things he could do. Chen Feng wanted to give it a try, but the previous life was too boring, leaving nothing to be desired. Since he has come to the world of pirates, he will live a very wonderful life in this life. Use the knife in his hand to forge his own legend. After recalling, Chen Feng began to collect the heads of the pirates with bounties. 3 minutes later, Chen Feng collected all the pirate heads with bounties. Actually, there aren't many heads, only 5. As for the rest of the pirates, they don't even deserve the bounty. After finishing the task of collecting the heads, Chen Feng jumped onto his boat and rushed towards the nearest naval stronghold. The ship under his feet was snatched from a pirate group composed of a group of destitute nobles. That group of destitute nobles quite understand how to enjoy it. This ship has a lot of facilities, everything, and the navigation is basically automatic. As long as the heading is set, Chen Feng can sail alone at sea without having to keep an eye on him at any time. Time flies, 4 hours have passed. Chen Feng's ship docked and arrived at the nearest naval base. He wants to take the heads of these pirates to collect the bounty, and then exchange them for a better knife to march towards the new world from the Great Route. After landing, Chen Feng walked towards the headquarters of the naval base. After arriving at the door, 2 navies directly blocked Chen Feng. What kind of person are you? This is the naval base in Sheltstown, not everyone can trespass. After hearing these words, Chen Feng whispered to himself. Surprisingly, it's the naval base in Sheltstown. It turns out this place belongs to Monka. With a splash, a black bag was thrown in front of the navy. I'm here to collect the bounty, don't waste my time. After hearing Chen Feng's words, the navy guarding the gate immediately nodded. So he's a bounty hunter, no wonder he came to the naval base. For bounty hunters, although these navies may not look down upon them, they are also not respected. One kills a pirate, the other gives a bounty, they are just using each other. Let's go, follow me in and first confirm how much reward you can get. Chen Feng nodded, it was only natural. A navy immediately led the way towards the inside, and Chen Feng followed suit. He followed the navy ahead, but his eyes looked around. Monka is quite good at enjoying it. This place is well built and truly deserves to be called the Earth Emperor. Soon, a familiar figure appeared in Chen Feng's sight. The familiar figure was tied to a cross. It is the famous figure in One Piece. Roronoa Sauron. After seeing Sauron, Chen Feng's lips slightly raised. I didn't expect it to happen at this exact time. It seems like something interesting is about to happen. Chapter 2. Sauron without the use of famous knives. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. At this moment, the Navy leading the way turned to look at Chen Feng. I warn you not to look around aimlessly. Otherwise, your fate will be the same as that green algae head over there. Oh, really? Chen Feng's mouth curled up. Of course, that green algae head over there is also a bounty hunter. That guy offended Colonel Monka, so he was arrested. You better be careful, Colonel Monka has a bad temper. Chen Feng smiled and glanced at the Navy in front of him, then released his hand pressed on the knife. He had already planned to take action, but after hearing the admonitory tone in the last sentence of the Navy, he decided to let it go. This guy's nature is not bad, he's just reminding him. Chen Feng nodded in response to the Navy's words. After seeing this scene, the Navy turned around and continued to lead the way. At this moment, Chen Feng thought of something in his heart. He originally wanted to exchange this bounty and get a good knife to use. In the original One Piece novel, Monka captured the guy because he felt that Roronoa Sauron was not worthy of using a famous sword, and took the sword away. From this perspective, it seems that there are also famous knives here in Monka. If nothing unexpected happens, there will be an accident here later. He should be able to seize the opportunity and get a famous knife. In that case, you can still save some money. 3 minutes later, the Navy and Chen Feng arrived in a room. There is a naval civilian sitting in this room. The Navy leading the way threw a black bag at the civilian staff. Carlos, take a look at the heads of the pirates here and see who they are. Then give the bounty you deserve to the bounty hunters here. The civilian named Carlos immediately raised his head and looked at the Navy and Chen Feng. At the moment of seeing Chen Feng, a frightened expression appeared on the faces of the civilian staff. You guy. Yes. Yes. Death God. Seeing the expressions and tone of the civilian staff, Chen Feng knew he had recognized him. He shrugged helplessly. Mr. Carlos, don't worry about who I am for now. Let's first examine the heads of these pirates. Okay. Okay. Okay, Mr. Death, my horse. Right away. Carlos immediately stood up, quickly lowered his head, took the black bag, and dared not look at Chen Feng. At this moment, the Navy leading the way was also shocked and turned to look at Chen Feng. Are you that guy, the Grim Reaper? Are you the Grim Reaper who has already killed all the pirate groups of all sizes in the world? Looking at the shocked expression of the Navy leading the way, Chen Feng had become accustomed to it. He nodded, admitting it. The Navy leading the way immediately froze in place. That's right, when Chen Feng exchanged the heads of pirates from all over the world for a bounty, he was crowned as the god of death. Because all the pirate groups that encountered Chen Feng had already died, leaving no survivors. So Chen Feng came up with the name Death, which made even the pirates tremble with fear. As for why is the Navy afraid of him? That's because after he killed a pirate with a bounty of 100 million, a naval colonel at a naval base looked down on bounty hunters and didn't want to give them a bounty. So, the naval colonel was directly killed by Chen Feng, and he smoothly took the reward he deserved. However, there are still some twists and turns involved. After killing that naval colonel, the rest of the Navy stopped working. Chen Feng easily wiped out the entire naval base. When the Navy investigated afterwards, it found that this was Chen Feng, the god of death. At this moment, a large number of sea bounty hunters who learned this news were very happy. And they are very grateful that Chen Feng killed that naval colonel. Because the naval colonel killed by Chen Feng, relying on his power, often made things difficult for these bounty hunters and confiscated their bounties. After the death of the naval colonel, these bounty hunters celebrated wildly. And they also widely publicized the deeds of that naval colonel. The investigators of the Navy headquarters naturally knew about this matter. Because many bounty hunters have reported this matter before, but no one has accepted it at all. Now, they had originally planned to arrest Chen Feng, who had killed a naval colonel. But they were very wary of Chen Feng's strength, and there were also a lot of angry questioning from bounty hunters, so they didn't dare to directly arrest Chen Feng. Moreover, the cooperation between the bounty hunter Death and them was actually quite enjoyable. If the bounty hunter's Death God turns into the pirate's Death God, it will be difficult to deal with. So they sent someone to find Chen Feng, who happened to once again annihilate a pirate group. So Chen Feng casually explained. The Navy also accepted Chen Feng's statement and judged the naval colonel as a disgrace to the Navy. But that was the personal action of a naval colonel, not related to the Navy, and completely drew a line with the Navy. Chen Feng doesn't care at all about this point. After that incident, the personnel at the Bounty Exchange office at the naval base all had a portrait of the Grim Reaper. It was just to prevent them from admitting the wrong person, and they mistakenly used some bad coping methods. After all, the Grim Reaper can really kill people. Chen Feng completely ignored the two people in front of him and began to observe the surrounding environment. This is a habit he has developed now, and no matter where he goes, he must observe the surrounding environment well in case of emergencies. Quickly, the civil servants counted the bounty for 5 heads. After the investigation, the civilian staff were very shocked. These 5 people are actually pirates from the New World and belong to the same pirate group. This pirate group had a maximum size of over 500 people. In the New World, it is also somewhat famous. But I heard that recently in World War I, he was driven out of the New World by a small team under the 4th Emperor Kaido. It seems that only 70 or 80 people managed to escape in the end. At this moment, the civilian staff thought of the style of the Grim Reaper. If the Grim Reaper takes action, that pirate group will definitely be gone. And the total bounty of these 5 people added up to 800 million belly. This indicates that the strength of these 5 individuals is not weak, it's just that the Grim Reaper is too strong. The civilian staff stood up trembling and then looked at Chen Feng. Sorry, Lord Death, the amount of reward you received is too large. You may need to wait a little longer. Chen Feng nodded to show understanding. The civilian breathed a sigh of relief and looked at the Navy on the side. Lank, take Lord Death to sit outside for a while, and I will immediately go and withdraw the money for Lord Death. The Navy named Lanko suddenly reacted and a smile appeared on his face. Oh, alright, Lord Death, please come to your side. Lank signaled to Chen Feng to walk outside. Chen Feng didn't hesitate and walked out directly. Just as he walked out the door, a figure walked towards him. After seeing this familiar figure, Chen Feng's face showed a smile. That's right, this guy is the naval colonel of this base, Monka. Chapter 3. Black Knife Bloodthirsty and Unexpected Incidents. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Colonel Monka. Navy Lanko immediately saluted. Monka nodded, but his gaze turned to the person behind him. He has recognized who this person is. Isn't this the famous Grim Reaper? Why did he come near my territory today? Report to Colonel, Death is here to collect the bounty. Fool, of course I know he's here to collect the bounty, otherwise why would he come? Monka slapped Navy Lanko on the head. Hey, Grim Reaper, what kind of pirates did you kill again? Aren't you just some small minions? There aren't any big pirates in the East China Sea. Chen Feng's expression was very calm. Indeed, there are no major pirates in the East China Sea, not even in the 4 seas. So I plan to go see the New World. Oh, the New World. That place is really interesting. Monka's face smiled. He gently swayed his arm, unsure of what was on his mind. Chen Feng ignored him and walked directly to a nearby seat to sit down. Monka saw Chen Feng ignoring him and sat down directly, with a hint of displeasure in his eyes. But he didn't get angry. The guy in front of him is not easy to deal with. However, he was still very angry, so he planned to go and deal with the bounty hunter outside first. How can a useless bounty hunter qualify for a famous sword? It really doesn't matter. Mr. Death, your bounty has been raised. Do you need us to help you move it? The previous civil servant has already sent the bounty over. Colonel Monka, are you here too? The civilian staff immediately paid a military salute. Carlos, why did you bring so much money? Does that guy really have so much bounty? You're not being coerced and intentionally giving too much, are you? Monka was very surprised and shocked when he saw this amount of bounty. How could there be so many? East China Sea, but there aren't those big pirates, isn't this bounty too much? Did that guy send a lot of pirate heads? No, he needs to ask clearly. This money has already had an impact on his naval base. Although he can claim reimbursement from the Navy headquarters later, he doesn't want to lose so much money all at once. Report to Colonel, there is indeed so much bounty from death, Carlos immediately replied. How many pirates did that guy kill? Report to Colonel, 5. 5, how could it be that there are only 5? 5 pirates, how could there be so much bounty? What are you joking about? Monka was already very angry. Did the guy in front of him dare to deceive him with the Grim Reaper? Are you really not afraid of Monka directly killing him? Go back. Go back to Colonel Monka. These 5 pirates are the leaders and key cadres of the Blood Teeth Pirates. Their bounty is indeed so much. Carlos' voice and body trembled slightly. Blood Teeth Pirates. Why haven't I heard of it? You better not be lying to me, this guy. Colonel Monka, how dare I lie to you? They are a pirate group from the New World who have just returned to the East China Sea. Carlos almost knelt down, and the terror of Monka has deeply rooted in the hearts of the entire naval base. It turns out to be pirates from the New World, no wonder the bounty is so high. In fact, their bounty can be even higher, right? What do you think? Carlos. Yes. Yes, Colonel Monka. Carlos now understands what Monka means. When applying for reimbursement of the bounty from the headquarters, increase the bounty for these pirates and allow them to receive more funds. This is also something that all naval bases do to salvage oil and water. And of course, the Navy headquarters will not care about these things, as long as they are not too excessive, it doesn't matter. Otherwise, who would have worked their lives for you? If it's true, then there's no need to make things difficult for that guy. Monka glanced at Chen Feng again, no longer paying attention, and turned to walk out. So Chen Feng successfully received his own reward. After receiving the bounty, Chen Feng slowly walked towards the outside. Soon, Chen Feng arrived at a tavern. He ordered a piece of food and waited while eating. After paying the money, Chen Feng walked out directly. At this moment, a figure wearing a straw hat appeared in Chen Feng's sight. He is the protagonist of the pirate world, the Straw Hat Boy Luffy. He is here to save the bounty hunter, Roronoa Sauron. After landing, Luffy headed straight for his destination. Chen Feng raised his lips slightly and followed suit. At this point, the event is proceeding according to the development of the plot. Luffy met Sauron smoothly. Then he began to search for the knife that was stolen by Monka for Sauron. Chen Feng also went directly to the place where Monka placed his famous sword. He saw the knife that Sauron had stolen at a glance. He has little interest in these 3 knives. But for Luffy and Sauron, he is even less interested now. These 2 are so useless now, they don't even have a bounty, killing them won't be much use. Soon, Chen Feng chose a knife called Bloodthirsty. This is a black knife. Monka placed it in the middle of the storage room. It is obvious that this is the most precious knife here. And the murderous aura on this bloodthirsty body, Chen Feng likes it very much. He grabbed the black knife, unsheathed the long sword, and gently waved it. Not bad, it's really a good knife. This knife satisfies Chen Feng very much. After taking the knife, Chen Feng left here directly. Except for this knife, all other so-called treasures here do not enter his eyes. After Chen Feng left, Luffy also found this place. He also saw Sauron's knives and took them away. Chen Feng stood at the highest point of the naval base, looking down at Sauron and Luffy. At this moment, Sauron had already grasped his knife in his hand. The navies also discovered their presence and began to besiege them. Chen Feng glanced at the battle below and felt a bit uninteresting. Now he has obtained what he wants and should also enter the new world. So Chen Feng jumped off the tall building and walked towards the seaside. The navy saw Chen Feng leave without any surprise. But unfortunately, the accident still happened. Luffy was hit by Monka and flew directly in front of Chen Feng. It's really a coincidence that no book can be written. Luffy immediately got up and looked at Monka in the distance, and Monka's gaze also shifted towards this area. Soon, Monka's face showed an angry expression. Because he saw his most precious knife at this moment. That knife was supposed to be placed in his storage room, but now it's hanging on a person's waist. Chen Feng shrugged helplessly after sensing Monka's gaze. It seems that it's not as easy as imagined to take this knife away today. Chapter 4. Quickly kill Monka, shocked Luffy. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Death, you guy. What the hell did you do? Why is that knife in your hand? Monka angrily questioned and quickly moved in the direction of Chen Feng. Chen Feng's expression was calm and there was no intention of explanation. At this moment, both Luffy and Sauron noticed the man in front of them. Is your name Death? It's so cool. Luffy smiled and looked at Chen Feng, completely ignoring Monka's approach. Luffy, stay away from that guy. Sauron shouted loudly. The sudden appearance of this young man caused immense pressure on Sauron. Of course, Sauron also knows this guy, the bounty hunter. The Grim Reaper, who is a terrifying presence for pirates. That foolish guy Luffy, don't say anything about becoming the Pirate King in front of that person. Otherwise, what if I get chopped down with a knife? Hey, Death, why aren't you talking? Why did Sauron ask me to stay away from you? Although Luffy heard Sauron's words, he had no intention of leaving, and instead curiously asked. Perhaps it's because I'm a bounty hunter and you're a pirate. Chen Feng placed his hand on the bloodthirsty handle of the knife and stared at Monka. He is hesitating whether to directly cut off the Monka. But soon, he let go of his hand. Forget it, we won't cut it for now. We may have to deal with the Navy in the future. If you really want to chop, you can't chop in front of so many navies. Monka, I really like your knife. Are you giving it to me or should I spend 500 million Bailey to buy it? What are you joking about, this guy? 500 million Bailey wants to buy my Bloodthirsty. Monka became even more angry, and that guy wanted to buy his black blade Bloodthirsty for 500 million Bailey. That was when he killed an entire village and found it from one of the old men's homes. Moreover, the black knife is an priceless treasure, and its value cannot be measured by Bailey. Oh, it looks like you don't want to sell anymore. Chen Feng placed his hand on the handle of the knife again. What are you all staring at? Surround Death and these two kids around me. Monka roared angrily at the group of foolishly standing naval officers. The Navy immediately reacted and surrounded the three people. Open fire on me, kill them. Under Monka's command, the Navy raised their guns and attacked the three of Chen Feng. Just as Chen Feng was about to take action, Luffy suddenly blocked in front of him. After seeing this situation, Chen Feng was somewhat surprised. Did he actually be protected? At this moment, Luffy used his rubber fruit ability to bounce all the bullets back. The surrounded navies were successfully resolved. After seeing his navy subordinates being killed, Monka angrily looked at Chen Feng. Death, I advise you to return my sword and join me in killing these two pirates. Otherwise, I will report and say that you helped these pirates. You can sell me this knife, I don't want to get involved in your affairs. Chen Feng once again made his request and did not want to participate in the affairs between these three people. After hearing Chen Feng's request, Monka sneered. Death, I won't sell you this knife, and you don't want to stay out of it today. You must help me kill these two pirates, otherwise you will be wanted by the Navy. There are still many people in the Navy headquarters who are unhappy with you, especially those from the Take faction. If you're wanted, those guys will definitely come over, and then you'll become a homeless dog. So are you threatening me, Monka? Chen Feng's hand gripped the handle of the knife again. Whatever you think, you have no choice. Do you have no choice? That's not necessarily true, Chen Feng said calmly. Subsequently, the long knife in his hand unsheathed, and a faint cutting sound sounded. Do you dare to draw a knife at me, this guy? You. Monka's voice came to a sudden halt. He felt like his eyes suddenly turned upside down, and then he couldn't see anything. With a thud, a head hit the ground. That's exactly Monka's head. And above the head, the neck of a headless corpse is spraying blood. That's right, Monka was instantly killed by Chen Feng. Originally, Chen Feng wanted to exchange this knife for Monka 500 million Bailey. If he didn't agree, Chen Feng wouldn't forcefully snatch it. Originally, Chen Feng had already placed 500 million Bailey in his storage room, which was the money for buying knives, but Monka chose to threaten Chen Feng, who disliked being threatened by others the most. Chen Feng shook his head, inserted his sword into its sheath, and walked towards the outside. At this moment, everyone is still in shock. Monka was unexpectedly killed by someone in a flash. Death, is this guy so strong? Luffy widened his eyes and thought heartlessly. Sauron turned his head to look at Chen Feng's back. That guy. His swordsmanship is indeed as strong as rumored, I must surpass him. The other navies looked at each other, you look at me, I look at you. Monka's abuse of power and intense exploitation have made ordinary navies very angry, but they are unable to resist. The brutal rule of Monka also led to the fact that even if Monka died in front of them now, these navies had no intention of seeking revenge. Even they have some gratitude towards death. Chen Feng walked towards the seaside, and since the knife had been found, it was time to enter the new world. As for whether killing Monka would be wanted by the Navy, he doesn't care at all. Even if it's really wanted, what then? Just cut it down and it's over. Just live as you please, everyone has already arrived in the world of pirates, and there are no rules that can bind him. At this moment, Luffy suddenly reacted and ran towards Chen Feng. Luffy, what do you want? Didn't I tell you to stay away from that guy? Do you know that guy is very dangerous? Sauron caught up with Luffy and cursed with resentment. For the little boy in the straw hat in front of him, Sauron could see it clearly. This guy is purely lacking in heart and mind. Luffy ran as he turned to look at Sauron. Sauron, I want that guy to join my pirate gang too. What do you think? What? Are you crazy? That guy is a Grim Reaper. He is the most powerful bounty hunter in the world, how could he possibly join your pirate group? That guy has killed more pirates than anyone you've ever seen. What are you joking about? It is obvious that Luffy did not listen to Sauron's words at all. Anyway, I want that guy to join my pirate gang. That guy is really too strong. And don't you think the name, Death God, is very handsome? If he joins in, it must be very interesting. Chapter 5. Joining the Straw Hat Regiment, Sauron's Defense. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. After Chen Feng arrived at the shore, he walked towards a nearby shop to buy some supplies. At this moment, Luffy's voice rang in his ear. Death, do you want to join my pirate gang? Chen Feng turned around and looked towards Luffy, his mouth curling up. Are you sure you want to invite me to join your pirate group? Of course I'm sure. You can join my pirate group and travel with us later. I, Luffy, am the man who wants to become the One Piece King. The Pirate King. It's a rather boring ideal. But why should I join your pirate group? It seems like your pirate group doesn't even have a ship, right? Chen Feng smiled and teased Luffy. Luffy wanted to say something more, but at this moment, Sauron stopped him directly in front of him. Luffy, why don't you invite this guy? He has killed more pirates than anyone you've ever seen. And this guy won't join your pirate gang. He is the Grim Reaper who makes pirates tremble with fear. But at this moment, Luffy extended a head from behind Sauron. It's okay, Sauron. Didn't I invite him just because he called death? Sauron, don't you think it's cool to have a Grim Reaper in our pirate group? Luffy, how many times do you need me to say it to understand? This guy can't join you. And if you provoke him, it will be very troublesome. I can't beat him for now. Although Sauron was very unwilling, he admitted the fact that he could not defeat Chen Feng. Hey, Death, do you want to join us or not? You can join us. If we travel together, it can be very interesting. Luffy still hasn't given up, he really wants Chen Feng to join their pirate group. After hearing Luffy's words, Sauron felt very helpless. This guy is hopeless. Once a single muscle starts, I can't control it at all. Sauron also thought of that guy's behavior when inviting him. Why did I agree to this guy? I really didn't understand. Chen Feng, on the other hand, fell into contemplation upon hearing the interesting sentence spoken by Luffy. If viewed from an interesting perspective, joining the Straw Hat group seems quite good. These guys are not at all worry-inducing, but they will definitely be very interesting. Since you have come to this world, you still need to find some interesting things to challenge. Hey, Straw Hat Boy, if I join your pirate crew, shouldn't I be the captain? Neither of you can beat me. What, you want to be the captain? No, the captain must be mine. How can One Piece be a crew member? The captain must be me. Luffy immediately rejected Chen Feng's proposal. How could he possibly become someone else's crew member? How about I become the co-captain? Chen Feng spoke again. Captain. Luffy seemed to start thinking. At this moment, Sauron was stunned. Why did Death agree to join? What is that guy really thinking? And I also want to be the captain and co-captain. Luffy, you really don't want this guy to join us, do you? Soon, Sauron realized something. That guy Luffy really might agree to make him the co-captain. If we make you the co-captain, will you join us? Sure enough, Luffy, who deliberately pretended to be thinking, said this sentence. Actually, as long as it's not being a captain, Luffy can accept anything. He pretended to think, just didn't want to be seen about it. Although Luffy is simple and straightforward, he is not foolish. Sure, if I were the co-captain, I would join you. Chen Feng nodded and agreed. Great, great, Death has joined us. My co-captain is the Grim Reaper, he's so handsome. Luffy danced with joy. Alongside, Sauron's eyes showed caution, and he immediately placed his hand on the handle of the knife. Death, what exactly do you want to do, this guy? Aren't you always willing to let go of any pirate, this guy? Why suddenly became a pirate instead of a bounty hunter? Chen Feng turned his head to look at Sauron. It seems like being a pirate or a bounty hunter, this thing should be my freedom, Roronoa Sauron. And don't forget, now I am the co-captain, and more importantly, your strength is very weak. You guy. Sauron directly pulled out his own knife. Sauron, what are you doing? How did you draw your sword on the deputy commander? Luffy reached out and pressed the knife in Sauron's hand. In the future, everyone will be partners and we should get along well. Death, you guy, I will definitely surpass you in the future, and I won't let you harm Luffy. Sauron took his hand off the handle of the knife and said this seriously. Chen Feng smiled when he heard these words. In the future, you will have many opportunities to challenge me, come on. By the way, Death, what's your name? My name is Luffy, I am the man who wants to become the One Piece King. Oh, my name is Chen Feng. You can call me the Grim Reaper, it's just a title anyway. Originally, the name of the Grim Reaper was Chen Feng. Sure enough, Grim Reaper sounds a bit more handsome. Chen Feng ignored the guarded Sauron and turned to walk towards the nearby store. Let's go, Luffy. We should go buy supplies and then start heading towards the Great Route. There will be more fun in the new world. If you want to become the Pirate King, the faster you go there, the better. Really? Then we need to set off quickly. I can't wait to become the Pirate King. Luffy also ran towards the wind. Sauron looked at the backs of the two and frowned. He couldn't figure out what Death was really thinking, and why he wanted to mention things about the new world. Listening to that guy's meaning, he seems to want to go to the new world as soon as possible. The new world is a place with a lot of bounties and high levels of pirates. Is that guy's destination already there? No, we absolutely can't let that guy harm Luffy. I must stop that guy's conspiracy. Thinking of this, Sauron immediately followed Chen Feng and Luffy. 10 minutes later, Chen Feng had already bought the goods and the supplies arrived in front of his ship. Wow, Captain, this is your ship. It's so big, much bigger than ours. If you say that, that's indeed true, Luffy. Chen Feng walked straight towards his own boat. Luffy immediately jumped onto the boat and began to look around. He curiously surveyed the entire ship. Captain, what is the name of your ship? Chen Feng put down the supplies in his hand. Is the name of the ship? That thing doesn't exist. What, your ship doesn't have a name yet? Luffy's face was puzzled and a hint of surprise. Chapter 6. The Fragrant Sauron, who has the heaven forgotten. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. He is very happy now. This ship actually doesn't have a name yet, so if he were the captain, could he give this ship a name? Captain, can I give this ship a name? Luffy turned his head and looked at Chen Feng pleadingly. Sure. Chen Feng's tone was very indifferent. As the co-captain, there is no problem providing the ship. Anyway, it's just the name of a ship, and he doesn't care. After obtaining Chen Feng's permission, Luffy was very happy. He began to think hard and wanted to name his first pirate ship. How about calling it the Grim Reaper Mary? Luffy was very excited and said the new name he had in mind, then looked at Soaring and Chen Feng. Captain, what do you think of this name? The Grim Reaper Mary. Chen Feng felt a bit helpless. Is this name really suitable for being a pirate ship? He always feels a bit awkward about this name. Luffy considered that this was his ship, and he still couldn't forget the Mary. Whatever you want, I don't care about this. Chen Feng waved his hand and expressed his opinion. Hey, Sauron, what do you think? Luffy turned his head to look at Sauron. I don't think it's very good. Sauron is now very wary of Chen Feng, and he feels that Chen Feng must be having some other idea, so he instinctively refutes the matter about Chen Feng. Isn't it great? What should be the name? Luffy lowered his head and began to think seriously. Otherwise, let's call it the Fatian-Melee. Chen Feng looked at Luffy and kept scratching his head, feeling somewhat helpless. This name doesn't sound bad, it truly deserves to be the deputy team leader. Luffy immediately gave Chen Feng a thumbs up. If you think it's good, then let's settle down and don't have to worry so much. Alright, we should go now. The next destination, I just set it up, just wait and see. After saying these words, Chen Feng lay directly on a rocking chair. Captain, doesn't this ship need to be piloted? Luffy was very puzzled. At present, it is not necessary. Generally, it can drive automatically. Chen Feng was rocking his rocking chair while eating fruits. Is it so powerful? Isn't that why we don't need sailors? Luffy widened his eyes, feeling extremely shocked in his heart. How could it be possible that you don't need a navigator? A ship like this that can move automatically cannot pass through those sea areas with eerie weather. Sauron interjected on the side. Indeed, so we need to find a navigator to help us set sail. Chen Feng nodded in agreement. If it's a navigator, where should we go to find it? This problem has made Luffy difficult. Chen Feng swallowed the fruit and smiled as he spoke. I'll leave this question to you, Captain. No problem, then leave it to me, Luffy agreed. Soon, a confused expression appeared on Luffy's face as he looked at Chen Feng. But where should we go to find it, Lieutenant Captain? I already have a candidate in my heart. Let me take the captain to see that guy, how about it? If the captain thinks that guy is good, then let him be our navigator. Really? Is there really a candidate? Let's go and see. Luffy, don't believe that guy's words, he must have a conspiracy. Sauron immediately reminded him that he had no faith in the Grim Reaper in front of him. Sauron, why are you saying such things? The co-captain is our partner. How could he possibly harm us? Since the vice captain said there is a good candidate, let's go and see. If that candidate is really capable, it's not too late for us to invite him to board the ship. Sauron clenched his fist at this moment. Luffy completely distrusts him, and he also trusts this Grim Reaper very much. Moreover, Luffy's attitude made him feel that Sauron was actually a bad person, as if he had been doubting his partner. No, he must not let this guy's conspiracy harm Luffy. Luffy, this guy is too naive, he will definitely be deceived by that guy. Since he has joined Luffy's pirate group, he will be responsible for him. If the candidate for that navigator doesn't meet his expectations, he won't let that guy join. Chen Feng glanced sideways at Soaring. He probably knew what Soaring was thinking in his heart, but he didn't care. And it looks quite interesting in this way. Sauron regarded him as a bad person, and it was like there was some shocking conspiracy. And now he is the co-captain, Captain Luffy, completely trusting him. So it seems that Sauron has become that bad person. The development of things is becoming increasingly interesting. Joining the Straw Hat Club would have been fun, but now it has become even more fun internally. Chen Feng is increasingly looking forward to what will happen in the future. Since Sauron would treat him like this, what would the other members of the Straw Hat group think of him after joining? I really want to know quickly. Captain. I'm hungry and I want to eat meat. If you want to eat meat, go get it yourself and eat whatever you want. After obtaining Chen Feng's permission, Luffy was happy like a big child. He can finally eat meat. That's right, the financial power is now in the hands of Chen Feng. There's no way, who can make these two guys in front of me both poor and destitute. And at this moment, Sauron's stomach was also hungry. Not only that, but his stomach also shouted out in frustration. After hearing this cry, Chen Feng raised the corners of his mouth. Sauron, you can go eat too. Don't worry, the co-captain won't be hungry for you. And those foods are non-toxic, and you personally watched and selected them. You may not believe me, but you have to believe in yourself. After hearing Chen Feng's words, Sauron clenched his fist. He didn't want to eat the food bought with Chen Feng's money, but in order to prevent Chen Feng from poisoning, he did personally inspect it. The final result is indeed non-toxic. But he won't eat it. How can one eat the food of the Grim Reaper? That guy must have a conspiracy, even if he's not poisonous, there's still a conspiracy. But soon, Sauron was defeated. His stomach protested even more fiercely. Listening to the sound of drums, Chen Feng couldn't help but laugh. Sauron, don't bear it anymore, go eat. Otherwise, if the captain knew that I had starved you to death, wouldn't you be afraid that the captain would come to me and try his best? If the captain tries his best to find me, what do you think I should do? Chen Feng's teasing tone echoed in Soarong's ear. Sauron clenched his fist, believing he could still hold on. He bit off a large piece of meat in one bite and then silently recited in his heart. I can definitely hold on. Chapter 7. Soaring in the Sky, shocked Sauron. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Watching Sauron defeated by the true fragrance law, Chen Feng shrugged helplessly. Captain, when can we reach the next land? After 3 hours of sailing, Luffy has become somewhat bored. I'm not quite sure, but it should be soon. Chen Feng is still lying on his rocking chair. In his previous voyages, it was the same. Whenever he saw an island, he would go up and take a look. If he encountered a pirate, he would just cut it down. In that case, I'll continue eating. Luffy's hand once again had an extra flesh leg and began to eat. At this moment, Sauron was meditating. At that moment, a huge bird flew over and grabbed Luffy, who was eating meat legs. Help, help me. Luffy's shout caught the attention of Chen Feng and Sauron. Chen Feng immediately looked in that direction and, upon discovering it was the bird, he released the knife in his hand. Sauron immediately drew his knife, wanting to chop off the bird. But after the bird caught Luffy, it quickly flew away without giving Sauron any chance. Watching Luffy shout for help as he flew further away, Sauron weakly lowered his knife. Death, you guy, why didn't you take action just now? If you take action, you can definitely save Luffy, right? Sauron turned his head and looked angrily at Chen Feng beside him. Don't worry, Sauron. We'll see the captain again soon. Chen Feng's indifferent words rang in Sauron's ear. You guy, do you know what you're talking about? I have long suspected that you have some conspiracy, and now you are desperate. Do you know that guy Luffy ate devil's fruit? He can't swim. Of course I know he ate the devil's fruit and I know he can't swim, but what's the point? He's very safe. Chen Feng didn't even open his eyes, and the rocking chair continued to sway. You guy. Soarong's face was full of anger, but he still didn't use his sword against Chen Feng. Sauron, go to the driver's cab and increase the ship's speed to maximum. Don't worry about the rest. We will soon find Luffy, don't worry. Are you commanding me? Sauron looked at Chen Feng with a displeased expression. That's right, I'm just ordering you. I'm the co-captain, can't I still order you? What are you joking about? Sauron pulled out his knife again. Besides, don't you really want to find Luffy? Chen Feng's light and ethereal words shook Sauron's heart greatly. Death, this guy made him so angry, but he had no choice. So Sauron put down his knife again and walked towards the cabin. He followed Chen Feng's command and adjusted the speed of the ship to the fastest. Afterwards, he came to the bow of the ship and kept looking out. 3 hours later, the Phaeton, where Chen Feng and Sauron were located, arrived at the anchorage of a small town. Death, where are we going to find Luffy next? Sauron looked at Chen Feng. Chen Feng did not respond to Sauron, but jumped off the ship directly. Soaring saw that Chen Feng did not respond to his extreme anger, but he still followed suit. Chen Feng walked directly to an ordinary townsman. Grandpa, have you seen a boy wearing a straw hat? There's also a beautiful woman with curly hair. The ordinary townsman looked up at the person asking questions. He took the money in front of him and answered. The straw hat boy and the curly-haired beauty you mentioned were caught by Bucky. Bucky's headquarters is in that direction. Following the direction pointed by the townspeople, Chen Feng looked over and nodded slightly. Thank you very much, sir. After saying these words, Chen Feng walked directly towards that direction. At this moment, Sauron's heart was very puzzled. How did the Grim Reaper know that Luffy would be in this place? And listening to that guy's meaning, Luffy seems to be with a girl. How could he possibly know this? Is that so? Is this thing designed by the Grim Reaper guy from beginning to end? That's right, it's definitely like that. Sauron was very happy because he believed he had found the truth about the matter. He plans to tell Luffy about this matter and find an opportunity to escape the clutches of this Grim Reaper. He must first find Luffy for this. So Sauron increased his speed, directly surpassing Chen Feng, and quickly ran towards the headquarters of the clown Bucky. Chen Feng looked at Sauron, who had disappeared from the dust, and laughed. Things are becoming increasingly interesting. He's going to join in the fun. Chen Feng immediately stepped into the air and left. The two townspeople behind were very shocked. They saw a guy flying in the air. Not only were these two proofs very shocking, but everyone who saw this situation was also very shocked. Look, that guy can walk in the air. A child shouted loudly. Everyone on the street was attracted by the children's screams and then looked up into the air. Sure enough, there was a person walking in the air. Many people started shouting because they saw something that almost overturned their cognition. And at this moment, Sauron also heard the sound. He immediately turned his head and then a shocked expression appeared on his face. Death, that guy is actually soaring in the air, and his speed is very fast. Now they are almost surpassing him. Impossible, how could that guy possibly achieve this? At this moment, Chen Feng's voice rang in Sauron's ear. Sauron, Captain, I'll take a step first. Please follow me as soon as possible. After reading this sentence, Chen Feng continued to accelerate and quickly disappeared from Sauron's sight. Chen Feng didn't take their shock seriously. This is just an enhanced version of the Moon Step in the Navy's Type 6. With his incredible intelligence, the Moon Step is no longer an ordinary Moon Step. Traveling in the air is just very basic. As for the other 6 forms, Chen Feng also has more advanced application methods. As for how he obtained naval physique, it's actually quite simple. He has actually killed many navies. Naturally, one can understand the Navy's Type 6 through corpses. Not only that, he can also comprehend the combat skills and other abilities of dying humans by touching them. Now Chen Feng does not have an accurate understanding of his own combat effectiveness. Mainly because he has not yet encountered an opponent who can take on his own sword. However, one thing he can be certain of is that his current combat power is at least that of a great general. And his combat power will continue to increase. Soon, Chen Feng arrived at a place similar to an amusement park, which was the headquarters of the clown Bucky. Chen Feng saw the two people below at a glance. That's exactly Luffy and Nami. Chapter 8. The Collapsed Nami and the Desperate Bucky. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. At this point, Luffy had already been caught by Nami and wanted to offer him to Bucky in exchange for her chart. After seeing this situation, Chen Feng quickly stepped towards that place. In front of everyone's shocked eyes, he came straight to Luffy. Captain, why did you come here too? How did you find this place? Luffy widened his eyes and asked Chen Feng. Chen Feng placed his hand on the handle of the knife, drew it and withdrew it in one go. A crisp sound sounded, and the iron chain was cut off and fell to the ground. Thank you, Captain. Thank you for saving me. Luffy began to move his hands. At this moment, the shocked Bucky had already reacted. You guy. You're the Grim Reaper. Bucky's face was filled with a look of fear. Not only did Bucky look frightened, but all the other pirates were already thrown to the ground, lying on the ground. Long time no see, Bucky. Chen Feng greeted Bucky with a smile. Joker Bucky was hacked by Chen Feng 6 months ago. However, seeing that this guy had taught him the ability to split fruits, he did not kill this guy. Of course, the most important thing is that the bounty for this guy is too small, which makes Chen Feng somewhat disdainful. At this moment, Nami on the other side became even more fearful and collapsed to the ground. Is this guy the Grim Reaper? Is he the demon who kills without blinking an eye? How did I meet this guy today? And what did that straw hat boy call him just now? Lieutenant Captain. So, is the pirate hunter Death actually a pirate now? How could that be? It's unbelievable, isn't it? But another possibility came to Nami's mind. Even if he's a pirate, what would happen? He still seems to be the one who kills people like crazy. I won't be killed by him, will I? Captain, do you know this red-nosed guy? Luffy's tone was very puzzled. I barely know him. I've chopped him down once before, but this guy has been begging for mercy, so I didn't kill him. Can you be considered one of the few pirates alive in my hands? Chen Feng smiled and answered Luffy's question. Oh, so that's it. Luffy's acceptance ability is obviously very strong, he has accepted this fact and doesn't care at all. He certainly knows that his co-captain is very strong, but the stronger his co-captain is, the better, isn't it? By the way, Deputy Commander, I have found the navigator. Luffy shouted happily and looked at Nami beside him. Captain, what do you think of her joining us as a navigator? Chen Feng followed the direction of his fingers and looked towards Nami. Nami, why did you fall? Luffy was very puzzled and helped up Nami. At this moment, although Nami was helped up, she felt the gaze of death. Her body was constantly trembling. Nothing. Nothing, I just accidentally slipped my foot. After seeing this situation, Chen Feng laughed, it seemed that he had brought some great fear to these pirates. After seeing Death laughing, Nami's heart became even more fearful. What did you see just now? Is the smile of the Grim Reaper. Does that mean she's going to die, she's going to be chopped to death by the Grim Reaper? Luffy, I have no objection, and the person I want to recommend is also her. Little thief cat. Nami. What? So, Captain, the navigator you want to recommend is also her, that would be great. So, do you also know each other? It seems that you know a lot more people than I imagined, Captain. It's really interesting, worthy of being the Grim Reaper, worthy of being my deputy commander. Luffy proudly placed his hands on his hips. Nami, however, completely lost the proud feeling of Luffy, and his heart was half cold at this moment. Death actually knows his name. Is there anything more terrifying than this? No, it's gone. Is Death deliberately remembering her name to kill her? Is she a thief worthy of death doing this? Hello, Nami. Join us, become our navigator, and then let's travel together. Luffy once again extended an invitation to Nami. At this moment, Nami suddenly reacted. Wait, the Straw Hat Kid in front of me is really the Captain of Death. If you join his pirate group, wouldn't that mean you're a crew member with Death? If that's the case, is her hometown saved? If that guy is the Grim Reaper, it seems possible for him to kill those pirates. But does she really have the right to let Death help him seek revenge? No, she doesn't. Soon, Nami regained her spirits. She is not the kind of girl who relies on others, she only has to rely on herself. What if it's considered death, even if it's killing her? Although she is afraid of death, she doesn't care. Nami, we must use our own strength to save the village and save her. To save the village, we need a nautical chart. And if you want to retrieve the chart, you need it. Nami immediately looked at Bucky. That's right, the chart is now in the hands of that guy. Bucky, I have already brought back the person you want. Chart, should you return it to me? Stupid, Bucky was awakened by Nami's loud shouting. What is this guy you caught? Do you know? Little thief cat. You brought him here, dare you ask me for a chart? This Straw Hat Kid is. This Straw Hat Kid is that captain. At this moment, Luffy also shouted loudly. Red-nosed guy, return Nami's chart to her. Otherwise, I will definitely beat you up. Luffy was already waving his fist, and if Bucky didn't agree, he was ready to go straight. After hearing Luffy's words, Bucky didn't look at Luffy, but instead at Chen Feng. Chen Feng placed his hand on the handle of the knife. "Bucky, hand over the chart and don't waste my time." "Lord Death, I will hand over the sea immediately." "Don't be angry, I won't waste your time, absolutely not." Bucky respectfully took out the chart and walked up to Chen Feng. He lowered his head and handed the chart to Chen Feng. Chen Feng took the chart and casually threw it towards Nami. Nami quickly caught the chart and then froze in place. She was very puzzled at this moment. Why did Death help her regain the chart? That's right, Nami realized it clearly. Joker, Bucky's willingness to hand over the chart so easily is definitely not because of the Straw Hat Kid in front of him. It's entirely because of this Grim Reaper. Only those who have served as pirates know the great deterrent power of the name Death and this person in the East China Sea. Rumors have it that none of the pirates who encountered the Grim Reaper survived. This rumor is definitely not just a rumor. Because I think this is a rumored pirate who has already died. Chapter 9. Brave Bucky and His Heroic Death. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. At this moment, a strong smell of urine spread and the sound of liquid dripping began. It turned out that the clown Bucky had already been scared to pee. At this moment, the clown Bucky remembered the terrifying night 6 months ago. That was the most terrifying, least memorable, and also the most shameful night of his life. Do you remember that night? It was the guy in front of me who arrived at my headquarters. At that time, he was full of energy, and as a man who had once stayed on the ship of One Piece, the clown Bucky was immensely proud. So when this guy, known as the Grim Reaper, came knocking on his door, he was very disdainful. I think this so-called God of Death is just a rumor from those garbage pirates. But the guy in front of him told him with the knife in his hand that death is not a rumor. And he thought he had the ability to split fruits, so he didn't have to fear those who used swordsmanship. Under that guy's knife, his splitting ability is useless at all. Every blade of the Grim Reaper struck him with great pain. After being chopped into dozens of pieces by the guy in front of him, he completely lost consciousness. Although I don't know why he will still be alive in the end. Perhaps it's because the guy in front of him doesn't want to kill him, or maybe it's because of his ability to split fruits. In the end, he survived, but those knife marks remained on him forever and could not dissipate. And today was also a very embarrassing day for him. He was scared to pee. And it was a physiological scare that made me pee. What's the smell? It smells so bad. Luffy pinched his nose with an expression of wanting to vomit. Chen Feng turned his head to look at the clown Bucky and saw his pants soaked in urine. What? Did the crew of the former One Piece King actually get scared and pee now? Chen Feng's tone was very calm, but the clown Bucky understood the meaning of disdain from it. That's right, his clown Bucky, who used to be a crew member of the Pirate King, has now fallen to this point. No, he is a crew member of the Pirate King. He cannot live in such humiliation. Death, I want to challenge you. Today, either you die or I die. Joker Bucky raised his knife and pointed it at Chen Feng. Chen Feng's face became a little more serious, and he pressed his hand on the handle of the knife. If you are determined to die, then I will fulfill you. It's not certain who will die in today's battle. The clown Bucky shouted and rushed towards Chen Feng. Chen Feng drew his long sword and swung it, chopping it down. The clown Bucky was instantly cut into dozens of pieces. Upon seeing this behind the scenes, Chen Feng did not retract his sword into its sheath. The voice of the clown Bucky rang out in all directions. Death, I'm not that easy to kill now. I should be grateful to you. Now, I have truly mastered the ability to split fruits. Let me show you the ability to split fruits again. Wow, this red-nosed guy is so amazing. He was chopped into dozens of sections and can even speak. Luffy on the side was already stunned, shocked by the ability of the clown Bucky. And seeing this scene, Chen Feng's face remained calm. The true power of splitting fruits. If it were only this kind of expression, you could already die. What are you joking about, this guy? You can't cut into my body now. Even if you have that ability, what? It's useless if you can't strike my body. The clown Bucky, who had split into dozens, was mocking while charging towards the dust. Not only that, his knife also split. Chen Feng looked at the charging clown Bucky and slashed with a long sword. Countless black blades shot out, and the voice of the clown Bucky came to a sudden halt, completely shattering his split body. Joker Bucky, once a pirate crew member, died. He chose a heroic way of death and did not continue to live a miserable life. Chen Feng also respected his choice and used the sword's edge, which was shrouded in the aura of armed colors, to chop his entire body to pieces. A slight sound sounded, and Chen Feng had already sheathed his sword and walked towards the outside. Let's go, Luffy. We should keep going. Ah. Captain, has that red-nosed guy died? Luffy has not fully understood the situation yet. Yes, that's right. That guy is already dead, and we should continue on our journey. By the way, don't forget to bring our navigator with you. Chen Feng too didn't turn back and walked out of this place directly. Okay, Lieutenant Captain. Luffy turned his head to look at Nami, who was completely stunned. Let's go, Nami, let's go together and become sailors for us. At this moment, Nami had not yet awakened from the shock. What happened in front of her just now, that clown Bucky was actually killed by death. And it was completely chopped into pieces. If that slash was directed at her, she would also have the same ending. Wait. Nami suddenly woke up. The sentence that Death just said is, our navigator. Does it mean that she has now become a sailor of the Straw Hat Pirates? But she didn't agree at all. But on second thought, did she really dare to refuse? That's the Grim Reaper. No, she must find a way to break free from the clutches of this Grim Reaper. That's right, she must break away. At this moment, you must remain calm, think carefully about how to get rid of the Grim Reaper. Nami, what are you doing? Answer me. Luffy began to urge again. He didn't understand why Nami was in a daze here and ignored him. The fear on Nami's face slowly dissipated, and her confident expression suddenly returned. She looked at Luffy. It's not impossible for me to join you as a navigator, but I have one condition. What conditions are there? Nami, come and listen, we will help you. So Nami began to propose her conditions. After some consideration, Luffy agreed to this condition. After hearing that Luffy agreed to the terms, Nami's face showed a smile. The Straw Hat Kid in front of me is really easy to deceive. Fortunately, the Grim Reaper is not in this place anymore, otherwise she wouldn't dare to make any demands. If this Straw Hat Kid has agreed to the terms now, it will be much easier to do next. Although from the situation just now, it seems that Death is the true mastermind of this pirate group. But the nominal foolish captain in front of me is not completely without value. Nami, let's go. The co-captain should be too impatient. And we also need to find another partner. I know where Solon went, but he didn't go with the co-captain. Luffy walked towards the outside, muttering with a puzzled expression on his face. Upon seeing this, Nami immediately followed suit. She couldn't even tear her face from death yet. Chen Feng walked out of the Joker Bucky's headquarters and saw Sauron walking towards him. Death, tell me, where exactly is Luffy? Sauron drew his sword again. Chapter 10. Sauron, I give you a chance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Looking at Sauron with a murderous expression on his face, Chen Feng remained very calm. Sauron's strength is too weak now. Do you care about an ant waving its teeth and claws in front of you? Not at all. Chen Feng didn't stop and walked straight past Sauron. At this moment, Sauron's face had turned bright red. He had already wanted to wield his knife when Chen Feng walked over, but a strong pressure prevented him from wielding it. No, it's not just that he can't swing the knife, he's already struggling to keep standing now. Sauron, as the co-captain, I have a piece of advice for you. When your strength has not reached a certain level, don't try to draw your sword at someone who is much stronger than you. With a thud, Sauron could no longer support himself under the strong pressure and fell to the ground. Fallen Sauron tightly clenched his fist and knife. He knew there was a huge gap between him and the Grim Reaper, but he didn't expect it to be so big. He had no way to resist just by imposing himself. What else are you talking about wielding a knife? Sauron, why did you have a conflict with the co-captain again? Luffy ran up to Sauron and helped him up. Sauron, didn't I tell you before? The co-captain is our partner, how can you take action against him? Obviously, Luffy saw clearly about Sauron pulling out his knife. Luffy, don't be fooled by that guy anymore. We're all here because of that guy's conspiracy. Otherwise, how would that guy know to come here to find you? All of this is his conspiracy, you must believe me. Sauron grabbed Luffy's hand and spoke weakly towards him. Sauron, what are you joking about? How could the co-captain harm us? If the co-captain really wanted to harm us, we might have been killed long ago. Don't you think so, Sauron? Luffy, you. Upon hearing Luffy's words, Sauron was completely shocked. He didn't realize that Luffy actually had a much clearer understanding of the facts than he did. That's right, Luffy had already realized that Chen Feng had no intention of killing them. This is an innate talent of Luffy, able to distinguish whether others have hostility. As for why doesn't death kill them? Perhaps it's because they are too weak, or perhaps for some reason. But this is not important, they are now partners. Moreover, the Grim Reaper did not cause any harm to them, so they remain companions. Chen Feng turned his head to look at Luffy, who was smiling and looking at Chen Feng. Chen Feng felt all sincerity in Luffy's smile. The young man with a straw hat in front of him did indeed regard him as a companion. Chen Feng doesn't care about this. Since he chose to join the Straw Hat Troupe. As long as he has no intention of quitting, he won't take action against these guys. The world of pirates has no rules, and Chen Feng can do whatever he wants. But being arbitrary does not mean there is no lower limit at all. If there is no lower limit, Chen Feng is not Chen Feng. Chen Feng looked at Soaring, who was supported by Luffy. Sauron, I can give you a chance. Next, I will tell you why I knew Luffy would be here. And this opportunity will determine the life and death of you and Luffy. What do you mean, this guy? Did you finally reveal your foxtail? Sauron looked angrily at Death, and this guy finally revealed his purpose. Chen Feng smiled nonchalantly. Luffy regards me as a companion, he can give his life and back to me. You Sauron can't do this. And why do you think you can survive after repeatedly provoking me? It's because I'm still a member of the Straw Hat Troupe now. I didn't explain these words to you, but to Luffy who trusted me. Do you know why I said you couldn't seize this opportunity and wanted to kill you and Luffy? That's because if I kill you, Luffy will go all out with me. So I can kill both of them. Upon hearing Chen Feng's words, Sauron clenched his knife handle tightly. After hearing this, Luffy still had a smile on his face. Captain, we will always be partners. After hearing these words, Nami thought the green algae head in front of her was extremely foolish. I really don't know how to provoke the Grim Reaper. And the dumbest thing is, this guy is not a match for the Grim Reaper at all. Death, I accept the opportunity you said. If you can't convince me, I will work hard with you. If you convince me, then you will always be my vice captain of Sauron, and I will listen to your orders. This is our partner, don't worry, Sauron. The co-captain really won't harm us. Luffy smiled and lightly patted Sauron's shoulder. Let's wait for his reasonable explanation to come out, and then come to a conclusion. Sauron looked straight into Chen Feng's eyes. Looking at Sauron's serious eyes, Chen Feng's lips curled up instead. He originally thought it was quite interesting that Sauron didn't trust him before. But soon he realized that an untrusted partner could be bad. So it's better to turn Sauron from an untrustworthy companion into an obedient subordinate, otherwise that co-captain would be in vain. Do you remember capturing the big bird that flew on the road? That big bird was raised by a person in this town, and it won't harm anyone. So Luffy will definitely be brought here by that big bird. As for why you want to ask me about this, you can ask the little thief cat next to me. Nami. Let me introduce you to this little thief cat. Nami, who will be our navigator from now on. This is a joint decision between me and the captain. Let me tell you one more thing, the thief cat. Nami is what I call a suitable candidate for a navigator. I think if I don't tell you about this in advance, you'll still feel like I designed it later. As for why we want to hire the thief cat Nami as a navigator, do we still need to explain it to you? Although Chen Feng said he wanted to explain, he had no intention of explaining anything. Sauron looked directly at Nami on the side. Hey, tell me if what Death said is true, and if that bird was raised by people in the town. That's right, it was indeed raised by the people in the town, which is something many people know. Looking at Sauron's murderous eyes, Nami unconsciously told him. After receiving Nami's proof, Sauron put away his knife and looked seriously at Chen Feng. Sorry, Captain, I misunderstood you. I won't question you again in the future, and I will obey orders. This time, Sauron has completely regarded Chen Feng as the vice captain, not because he is afraid of death, but because this explanation is very reasonable. That's best, Sauron. I'll say the co-captain won't harm us. At this moment, Luffy was very happy, but Nami beside her was not so happy. P.S. Thank you for your support, readers. You don't need to pay for the gift anymore. It's shameless to ask for a free gift.